I have to start with always answer this question. I guess a lot of you are trying to, probably when you receive the invitation from us, probably quite a few of you have never heard about Wellex. You probably have to figure out the name, address, and location. I know some of you have been here before, but I guess I actually have received a lot of questions about saying, hey, why you guys do manufacturing in the United States? I heard about this question a lot. Almost a lot of the new people coming, new customers. I thought this all manufacturing is all in China. Yeah, they were in China, but you know, I'm going to show you a slide that Wellex has been here for more than 33 years in Fremont. Our chairman, Jackson, he started the business in 1983. The Wellex actually established in 1983. It's actually in the green. I'm not sure how many people are actually familiar with the Fremont areas. So we have been established in 83, and it has been here. This is our second facility, right? In 80s, in 83, is actually the it's actually a booming of the contract manufacturing. In 70s, a lot of IBM and all this, they do their manufacturing by themselves. So in the mid-70s, they outsource. And that's why a lot of contract manufacturing started at that time. So Fremont established in 1983, and we've been serving a lot of, it's for Sun Micro. I think a lot of you probably know about Sun Micro. This has been purchased, bought by Oracle, DirecTV, AT&T's, HP, and so on. And in 2000, and that's the times that we started. I mean, United States started outsourcing. So we actually started another new facility in Shanghai. It's been there for 16 years already. We currently have about more than 400 employees. Could be up to 500, depends on the season, depends on the particular projects. What we do is that we do complete electronics manufacturing services from board assembly, box build, all the way system integration. And later on I'm going to touch about some other new services that we're providing today. The market that we serve from beginnings, you're talking about very early, you're talking about PC, you're talking about network, telecommunications, semiconductor equipment. Now go all the way. Now we're actually serving Tesla, one of our neighbors, and we have a lot of startup companies actually working with this IoT. So later on you will see a couple of products that have this IoT that we're actually doing today. We are fully ISO certified since we started the business. We're ISO 9001, 14001 for environmental compliance, and we are also certified for medical. It may not sound critical for you, but this means some kind of a quality control that we have in place, which is very important. So when you actually launch your project, you find that's kind of critical when you select your partner. This is the full service that we provide. We do board assemblies. I think a lot of you may think about, hey, I find some sensors, software, things like that. But when you put all this hardware together, you need to do some prototyping, any MPI. We do complete the board assemblies and also system integration in box build. Either you're doing with the plastic, with the hybrids, with the sheet metal enclosure, things like that. You will always need some kind of services that involve in the electronics manufacturing. And we provide the test solution integration as well. You may not think about test as important because you can test that right now when you do the launching. You test what you have today and you try to sell your product. But when you go into launching your project, this test is very important. This is one of the things that you have to really think much of to make sure that you have a solid test in place in your supply, manufacturing suppliers. We do supply chain management. Later on, we're going to have an open house. You will see exactly how we set up. We have set up the customer's warehouse, especially for those customers that you probably only have 2-3 people to start a company. You may not think about warehouse. But that's important. You have to make sure that you take the orders, that you have a warehouse, that somebody take care of you and can do the drop ship, either send to your house, distributions, or directly to your customers. We do complete from your order all the way to the manage your ECN and control your order from your customers. Here's the capability that we do. We have finally, later on you're going to see, we can do full capability of black circuit, rigid circuit, PCB assemblies. You may not think this is critical, but I have a lot of customers, and actually a few customers come to us and say, you know what, I got a problem here. We got to design. It's very tiny. I have a sensor here. I use a very small O2, O1 components. I have an O1, O5 component, so small, and I have suppliers that really run the problem. I think this is very important. You got to start from your design. So we have a full capability that we can actually work with you and make sure that when you design, select your components that you put your PCB layout properly so you don't run into any issue. We do very simple. We do flat circuit. So a lot of the electronics components today, either is POP, micro BGA, CSP, or your sensor, QF bands. Our line has a capability. We have a couple of new lines that were purchased in 2 years. 2 years. So we have nitrogen. If you have a certain product that require a given solid joint control, so we have full house nitrogen control capability as well. We can do the through hole, so the tip, right? You have any connectors that do the PCB, electronic mechanical components that you use on your boards. We can do that. It's a 4 years period. A lot of products today are talking about RoHS compliance. Our entire facility is converted into 2006 can support RoHS compliance. And not only RoHS, but we talk about REACH, we talk about different countries have different requirements. So we use the halogen, the most environmental compliant materials into our assembly. So you don't need to worry about that. If you need to sell to Europe, you sell to different regions, that has been taken care of. Box build and system assemblies, a lot of IoT products that you have a board and you want to put in some kind of system. You're going to have a small plastic, you're going to put a sheet metal, even a huge of a system that you want to try to put into your application. We have a certain line that I can set up as for you, from the small volume prototype to pre-production builds, and we can do some mediums system integration for you too. We can do build to orders, means that if your customer just place the orders, then we can just build it based on your particular requirement. I think some of the customer may have a special requirement, may have one different colors on the plastic, may want to have a different firmware, you want a different control, so we can do that. We can actually build for your orders, and we can do configuration to orders, meaning that we can build it 90% finished, we have another 10% configured the way that we want it. We do system functional test, we can do running and operating test as well. We can do it in your prototyping, we can also do it in your mass production. Most of IoT probably don't require high part test, but we do have a capability for some of the products. Materials and supply chain management. We have a pretty strong supply chain team. Our commodity teams here is located here in China. We will actually look for any parts since the beginning. So if you have engineering bomb to start with, we can help you find an alternative source. We can actually have work with strategy. Our suppliers to make sure that we negotiate with the terms. We can do a VMI, we can do quite a few things that will actually help you out. Component engineering is sometimes that you may actually design in, you go to DigiKey, you find the parts. And you may not know some other components you can use with a better lead time, a better pricing. We can help you out too. So our engineer can help you look at your spec and work with the suppliers to find alternative parts. Vendor qualification and quality review. I think a lot of things like you may not think very important today, but if you think about your PCB, if you go into the box, you need to make sure you have good PCB suppliers, plastic suppliers, sheet metal suppliers, cables, connectors, and so on. So we can actually help you to work with our vendors. We can continue to do a supply quality monitoring to make sure that we receive the right material to start building your product. Order fulfillment management, I mentioned about our logistics. So that is something that we can do. So again, you can really set up your warehouse, you really set up your supply chain, and you can use our location as your warehouse, and we can manage that. We do logistics, and we even go into, so over over the last couple of years, we even go to reverse engineering, which means that your customer return for changes, we can actually support you as well. Quality is actually very important when we actually building any of the product, either doing 5 pieces and 10 pieces, go all the way to volume productions. Here's one example that we do for in-process quality control. And here is more of the foresight from the bare board, printing the solar panel, all the way, put all the components, all go to X-ray and go to the circuit test and functional test. I think the key is that you don't really want your products that have been built and you put everything in enclosure and you plug in and you find out you have 5-10% of the full out. You don't want that to happen. So it's very important that we actually control our flow. So for control, here's the things that we actually do is we have a software team that actually develops this in-house. What it does is that when we take the orders, we have controls on using the software, tied with the order, tied with the serial numbers, so we can keep track of the entire process and make sure that any of the flow goes through the process and don't jump. You may not think that important, but let's say if you do 100 of them, and you suppose 100 of these pieces need to go to a particular test, the serial number tied with the testers is a key to make sure that nobody accidentally actually moved certain units that bypass the process and now with the products that has not been tested. So we have this software to control the entire moving the product from where you actually issue the material to the production floor, all the way to shipping box. So we can have your product with the serial numbers tied on, go into the shipping box. When we scan this particular product we want to ship to you, we want to make sure this product has been go through the predefined process. Nothing has been jumped. Here's the things that we put all together. So I'm not going to go through that, but I just want to let you know, prevention. We want to make sure that there's something set up, failure more analysis when you start your project, look at your product, say where is the area of potential problem. We will find out and work with you, and then define the right process for you. So here is all the tools that we have in place. Look at all the material process, people trainings, all the equipment, and all the data that we can collect to make sure that we can continuously review when we're building your products to make sure that we can ship the right product to you and we have happy customers. Here's the things that I don't want to call it, but I think this IoT things is over the last few years, a lot of customers come in and ask that question repeatedly. And if you look at the history of the United States, the product, 20, 30 years ago, you're talking about Howard, Dickett, HP, wherever this customer, they define their product, they tell you, CM, build it, you follow my spec. And later on, you're going to have Google, Facebook, this is go to storage or whatever. It's somewhere in mix. IoT is actually different. There's a lot of business company, startup company coming in and say, oh, right now I'm trying to have this idea, I'm trying to do this. A lot of people may not think of what is actually important. Everybody think about, I have this idea, I want to get money, I want to start with a product. But you may not think about when you actually launch to after your 10 pieces or 100 pieces order, what is actually important. And that's where we can help. We have been here for 33 years. And so a lot of things that even is a different product, but the way and the actual requirement to take all the requirements to support all the different products portfolio is very important. And so we are here. We think that we can actually provide a good service and a partnership with it. I'm put down actually very 3 simple slides. I think that we can help out. DFX. What's a DFX? You may not think about this. You are thinking about I'm putting a board together. I'm going to use a 3D print something and I put something. I use my software and it works. But from that point, going to somewhere to build another 10,000 pieces, it may not be as easy as you think if you don't start it right. So DFX is the thing you start from. You understand your software, you understand what is actually needed in your product, but you cannot think about what is needed to make sure that your product is actually scalable, sustainable. So we can actually help you from design. We can design for you. We look at you from your board, your plastic, your enclosure. We want to make sure that, and even your packaging materials, right? So these are the things that you have to really start. You may not really finalize, but you have to look at all this when you are actually trying to launch your project. So this is something that I feel is very important. It's a lot of customers, they pass the first stage, they get the money, but they would take actually more quarters than they think to launch their product. So here is the things that we can provide as services. The entire product lifecycle management. A lot of a product you start with maybe 2-3 people. You have also one double E guy, and you have a marketing guy, and all this idea together. You got to think about the full product lifecycle. You may actually have a product, but you don't have a BOM. You have a BOM, you don't have the right elements in here. You don't have the right components in here. When you finish, you're thinking about after your 3D printing parts, you are looking for your supplier, trying to figure out how to do this plastic. And then when your customer asking you, this is plastic, what is that requirement? And you start to think over again. Again, that actually impact on your time to market, the impact on the cost of your products. So we are here to help. So we can actually help you from the design, component sourcing, and we do prototype and help you to launch the project and make sure that you have something, that defined in your management process. We can from pre-sales to support all the way to after sales. Supply chain and logistics services, this is the full services I mentioned earlier, so this is something that we later on to show you with you probably see. We have 3 to 4 warehouses that actually is located in these locations. Meaning that we actually view it, we put in our their warehouse placement physically. So we provide a lot of services, and we can do drop ship. We can communicate with you and your customers in terms of the after sales support, return, logistics, shipment, ETA, things like that. So this is my last slide. So I just want to show you what we can. I will say manufacturing 2.0, Wellex 3.0. We are here to actually partner with a lot of IoT startup company, and hopefully our 33 years of experience can add the value to launch your project. Thank you. Any questions? If no questions, yes, go ahead.
Do you have any relationship with Selection before?
The founder of the Wellex is from Selection. They are co-workers. And many people you may know, you may not know. Selection is probably one of the, I would say, top 2, right? In 80s of the most famous CM that were purchased by electronics. Yes, we are moved from Selection. As a matter of fact, that we have a lot of co-workers used to work Selection, including our CEO Jed, our chairman. Yes, it's a conference Selection actually the founder. Yes.
You work anything with SCI?
Yeah. SCI, I used to work for SCI when I was young.
In Singapore or in USA?
I have shared both. SCI were purchased by Samina SCI. My first job, CN job, was in SCI. We had few workers actually come from that as well. Singapore, my company I work for actually sold to Samina SCI in Singapore and Indonesia, Batam. So yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. So any other questions? So one thing I want to mention is that after panel discussions, Q&A, we have an open house. Some of you may have your numbers. I think when you register, have group 1, 2, or 3. Maybe it's a different time. If you are 1, you will join the group 1. If you have 2, means you have a group 2. So we're going to meet somewhere here. We're going to start around 12 o'clock. Okay? Thank you.